No, don't think so. That's
No,
fine.
but nothing notified.
Great. And nobody's indicating now, so that's good. So in effect, we can get on to the main item for this meeting, which is in relation to the recruitment and selection details for the post of head of corporate landlord. This was as a result of a report that recently went to cabinet, and the creation of a corporate landlord function within the council. So I believe, Tom, are you going to be taking this item?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Leader. So, as you say, the Cabinet considered a report on the 4th of September relating to corporate landlord proposals, creating a new service area by consolidating a number of functions that exist across the organisation currently. That report set out the benefits and rationale, the approach that we'd taken to developing those proposals, also the Council's response to the work that CIPFA had done in partnership with us to provide the business case for the creation of the service. The report that you've got before you this morning, members, sets out the proposals to create the head of corporate landlord position. The report is relatively short because it's stage one of this process. The report sets out the proposed recruitment and selection arrangements. In paragraph 2.7, you can see the proposed timescale that following this committee, if members approve, we'd look to move to advertising the role from week commencing the 20th of October, which would allow us to undertake initial shortlisting of candidate applications week commencing the 10th of November, to interview at first stage, which is officer led in November on the 19th, and shortlist then for your committee to consider the shortlist of candidates and to make an appointment if somebody is suitable. The report sets out a couple of recommendations. One is that you approve the recruitment and selection arrangements which is set out within the body. The second is then that delegated authority is given to myself in consultation with the leader, the head of finance and the head of HR and OD to progress in terms of advertising the position, then doing that long listing and shortlisting to then draw up a final shortlist for yourselves, and then to bring those to yourselves. We would propose that we're going to, because of obviously the seniority of this position, it will be advertised externally as well as internally. The council will use a range of different mechanisms to do that, including LinkedIn. We're not proposing with this particular post to use any recruitment agent or consultant as part of the process. So that's just a really quick overview. Within the appendix to the report, members, you can see the job description and the person specification as well, so you can see exactly what we're seeking for in this role.
Super, thank you. I've got one little query, and it's just a little niggle actually. If you look at Appendix A, in terms of the sort of role spec, and it talks about location. It's a tricky one. This role, this person is going to literally be out and about for a vast amount of their time, being head of sort of the corporate landlord. So they are responsible for a huge number of strategic assets. So I suppose the question I've got is, how do we reflect that without being, because it says on site, well, that could be on certain premises, it could be actually in the office, at their office space or whatever. So it's, how do we reflect that expected flexibility without being overly dogmatic? And when that sort of, when I first read that, I thought, well, what does that mean? So can you explain what you meant, what you were thinking when you put that into
Yes,
the overview.
certainly, leader. I think with this role, we're very conscious that we need a leader to be present within the Vale Glamorgan, because we've seen such a change in terms of the potential job market over the last few years since the pandemic. A huge number of people are now applying for roles that they could be based elsewhere within the country. Some roles that's perfectly acceptable and works really well. I mean, we've got a number of colleagues who do that within corporate resources, but for the reasons that you've just been outlining, actually, we're very keen to make sure that somebody can have that visibility and presence. So we wouldn't be looking for somebody who is based elsewhere in the country and would find it difficult to be coming into the office. I think on reflection, the wording we can have a look at in terms of how we phrase that, so that it's made clear that what we're looking for is that presence, and it would be a minimum of 2 days that person would be undertaking their duties in person within the Vale. Because absolutely, as you say, the breadth of assets and responsibilities that this post holder will have is significant, and I'm very keen that they are a present and visible leader for the new service.
Thanks for that clarification. And as I said, I think we are under no illusions as to the sort of type of person that we need, but we need to make sure that the information that we put out actually attracts those sorts of people. I can see that George, you've got your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. It was just a quick point of clarification. I note that Cabinet approved this report. Will it be approved the creation of this post? Will it be coming to full council for approval, or is the post effectively created now?
My understanding is that we've gone through the call-in period from the Cabinet decision, which was an executive decision, and therefore this role, which is cost neutral, it fits in with the creation of the corporate landlord model within the council. So that's my understanding. Tom, did you want to make any comment on that?
The only other thing that I'd add, Councillor Carroll, is that I did double check what the constitutional arrangements were around the creation of these kinds of posts. There is a protocol where full council a report is taken for noting of heads of service, with the exception of the two statutory heads of service relating to the Section 151 officer and the monitoring officer, which comes to full council. But in this instance, following senior management appointment committee, at the second meeting where you would be making the appointment, we would then report that on to council for noting purposes only.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that wants to come in, or shall we move to the recommendations? Nope, can't see any hands up. So we've got on page 2, there are 2 recommendations. Firstly, as Tom mentioned, that the Senior Management Appointment Committee approved the recruitment and selection arrangements at this meeting of the committee as described in the position for the position in the body of the report. So that's that with a bit of a look on in terms of the role specifications. And secondly, we've got 2A through to D, which are the usual things about delegated authority being granted to Director of Corporate Resources in consultation with the leader, Stroke Cabinet Member for Performance and Resources, Head of Finance, 151 Officer, Head of HR and Organisational Development, to progress, and it's the following: advertising the positions, progressing the necessary arrangements for long listing and any necessary assessment of candidates in advance of shortlisting, drawing up a final shortlist for interviews, the interviews of which will be undertaken by future meetings of this committee, and finally, to agree costings and resource requirements relating to the processes required to pursue the recruitment and selection processes. But as Tom said, we do not intend to use external consultants in terms of this. So I'm not sure. I'm not aware of there being any additional cost to this, Tom.
the only cost, leader, may be in the terms of any psychometric testing or profiling, but not in the actual recruitment process in terms of advertising.
Super. So are we happy to agree those recommendations? I'm happy to move.
Yeah, I'll formally second for the record.
Yep. Can't see any dissent, so that's agreed. So I don't have any urgent items. I don't have any part 2 items. So in a very speedy meeting, I'd say thank you for your attendance this morning and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks very much.